Hello, y'all. I am back again for another video. And this video is going to be about this book can destroy lives. And keep in mind, I'm saying this book, not the belief in the Most High, not spiritual beliefs. The book can destroy lives. Just the book, y'all. So here it is, the Bible, y'all. And I'm going to give you an example of how this can happen. And I'm going to use a pastor as an example. You know how I am, y'all. Thank you so much for the like. Um, I'm going to use a prominent and famous pastor as an example of how it destroys lives. So the Bible, okay? And it's the same for the Quran. Bible, Quran, but today I will mostly be focusing on the Bible, but anything that's equivalent to a Bible, whether it be the Quran, the King James Holy Bible, I'm just going to give examples how it can destroy lives. The Bible itself, not the belief system, not necessarily the way of life, if you choose to live your life in so-called a righteous way, not those things, but I'm going to explain this. Y'all know I believe in the Lord, but it's not because of the Bible. I knew that there was a Lord from the time I was about 4 years old. So it has nothing to do with the Bible. There's proof that there is a Lord. There's proof that there is a heaven. There's even some proof of a hell. But the Bible is what destroys lives. So I found this video really interesting, and it was like a 1 minute video. Okay, and it shows how the Bible, which led into, of course, this pastor's religion, it shows actually how much it has destroyed him as well. It's benefited him because he's faithful to his family and a father to his children. He lives in the home with his wife and stuff. But don't think for 1 second that it has not hurt his life. Okay. So yep, I found it right here. So this is the thing. Okay, so this is why the Bible destroys lives. For one, it's a book of confusion. Okay. It's a book that look at it like if you was reading a manual on how to fix your dishwasher. And it gave you 15 different ways to do it. Okay, the Bible is confusing. People still arguing on if Jesus is God, if he ain't God. There's clearly most scriptures that will say Jesus is not God, but then there's some that may lead you to think that he is God. And what I'll do, I'll find this video, and it's on the Truth Unedited channel. And if you're able to take out some of the wording and replace it, like what he would call Jesus, he calls Jesus by another Hebrew name or the original Hebrew name. And so you just got to kind of replace some words, but I'll put that in the description box when this video ends. So, okay. So it's a book of confusion. It has people arguing over if Jesus is God, if Jesus is not God, and Jesus is not God. Okay, Jesus is a man, and Jesus was created by a spiritual being, which is the creator or the one most high or a Lord. No man is a God. Okay, so we can just stop there. But see, to understand this, you got to go into logic, not reading the Bible. Okay, now, like I said, number one, it's a book of confusion. And it's fine. I don't argue with people if they want to believe that Jesus is their God. I don't argue with them. It's what slave master taught them. Okay, that's another thing. Historically, because the Bible was implemented during a time of slavery, it gave a bunch of people with very low self-esteem something to look forward to. The Bible did that, not just their spiritual belief in the Lord. So the Bible, it's a book of confusion. Okay. Number two, it's a poverty book. Okay. It's a book that kind of gives a false example of what we need and don't need. Don't worry about it. The Lord will supply it. Whatever you ain't got no electricity and or water. Just go to Psalms. Just go to the book of Psalms and work it out. So it's a poverty book. However, pastors, especially in denominational churches, those pastors figured out quickly how to make it a book of riches. Okay. So the Bible is a poverty book, and still to this day contributes to a lot of poverty and poorness. Number three, to further confirm it's a book of confusion, it has you wondering if Jesus is God, if Jesus is not God. Some of the stories in the Bible are most likely, and it's proven, and some people are coming out disclosing that some of the stories could potentially be fictional. Okay, which means that some of the stories are not true or based on fables. Okay. I believe it's a mixture of both. I can read some of the Bible and see where, okay, yeah, that story could have been real, but maybe that story is not. It's a insanity book too. So there's this Fates and Gates channel, right? So anyone that gets too enmeshed in the Bible, they will eventually become crazy. Okay, so what happens is they're like stuck in a time warp. So like this Fates and Gates channel, he just did a video about domestic violence, criticizing a man that murdered his wife. But yet, he will do videos saying that women can't teach. So he's a complete enemy. Okay, so he teaches that ladies can't teach. And that's another thing. I would say number 6 or number 5, whatever. The Bible is a book filled with irrational things that make no sense. Like right now, I'm doing this video. So ladies can teach. We've been taught by ladies and men since the beginning of time. Ladies can teach because they can speak. Anyone that can speak or that have a soul or they are a living being, they can teach. All they need to be able to do is speak. That's it. But Fates and Gates, along with other YouTubers, especially black males, they love to teach that women can't teach. It's an abuse book. So this is the thing. The Bible teaches you how to be controlling and be an abuser, or you can go to the Bible and learn how not to be an abuser, or you can go to the Bible and learn how to be a really good victim. So these are three categories that you can go to the Bible. It just depends on what scripture you're reading. It's just like you're gambling. The Bible is a gambling book. You can learn how to be an abuser because you can preach that women should shut up and shouldn't teach. Or you can learn not to be an abuser and go to the book of Psalms and be a very nice man or lady. Or you can learn to be a really good victim. Okay, so the Bible does this. So, number 6, the Bible gives you a false understanding of what a real relationship is. Okay, and what a committed one is. And it's not always a marriage. Okay. Oh, and wait till I play this video for y'all. Y'all gonna be so flabbergasted. You're just gonna be like, wow. So it gives you not a realistic rational view of a relationship. Okay. It makes you focus on a piece of paper too much. And then it lies to you and makes you believe that this piece of paper is of God, this marriage is, because you're marrying a man. Why wouldn't the Lord want you to marry him? Why would the Lord really have you marry a man or a lady? And I guess that's what they're kind of saying when they say, give your life to the Lord first. But they're not calling that a marriage. They should call that a marriage. Because all a marriage is a bond, okay? Number 7, the Bible is very outdated. So it destroys lives because it's very, very outdated. The Bible is written by too many men. Okay. And men are natural abusers. Number 9, the Bible has taught male worship, not male love, not for us to love men and be kind to them. It teaches worship of them, which actually hurts men. Number 10, the Bible does not leave a lot of room for your perspective. So if you get too involved in the Bible, it can take your identity away. This is something that homosexuals and gay people and same-sex relationships have figured out for a very, very long time. That's what the LGBTQ is all about. It's not about, most people in the LGBTQ believe in a higher power. It's just that they didn't allow the Bible to tell them who they are and who their identity is. And they didn't let the Bible convince them that the devil made them that way. Okay, so I'm not saying I think people should be gay. I think it's best for a lot of people not to be because of the suicide rate amongst gay people is very, very high. So if you gay or in a same-sex relationship, that increases your potential suicide rate statistically. So it may not be the best thing, but you can logically say, well, I'm not going to be gay because I'm depressed or suicidal. And you don't really have to use the Bible to make that decision. Oh, that's another thing. Number 11. The Bible gives a subtle conclusion that you're unable to make decisions that are not in the Bible. Okay. So if you are making decisions that other people, especially, are not able to find in the Bible, You will be treated like you're some kind of wicked person. Okay. So, number 12, the Bible convinces people that they have a right to treat you bad because you're doing something that's so-called against the Bible, or that's not in the Bible. So it's not in the Bible, so you must be a sinner, right? You must be a sinner. You must be a real bad one too. I can't talk on this YouTube channel because the Bible says I can't teach. So I can't have a YouTube channel. And I've heard YouTubers say this. The Bible worshipers, and they will be usually black males. Black males will be the most destroyed by the Bible because their identity was taken in slavery. So black males, number 13, will become heavily addicted to the Bible because it's how they think they're finding their masculinity through the Bible. So the black man will become addicted to it, but it actually will only make him worse. And it will blind him to the truth. And actually, number 14 will be, if a black man does that, it will make him hate other black men more. And you can see that from watching Fates and Gates channel. He's really obsessed with the Bible. But what he doesn't understand, because he's so into it, I can clearly see that he's a very jealous man. Most of everybody that Fates and Gates is going to talk about on his channel, and he loves to talk about Ringo TV. Fates and Gates will be blinded to his jealousy of other men that he talk about. Now, is it a envy, a deep embedded jealousy? But Fates and Gates is jealous. He's not an attractive man. And that's another thing the Bible does. It makes you, it won't do it for me though. Fates and Gates is not well cared for. So he doesn't see that he needs to do that. When I look at Fates and Gates, he talks about Ringo TV like a dog. I won't agree with everything Ringo TV says, but some things I will, some things I won't. But Fates and Gates will be blinded to the fact of how morbidly obese he is, how unattractive he is on his videos, how unhappy he is on his videos. He's highly judgmental because he's addicted and he's oppressed by his own Bible, a Bible that other men wrote. Fates and Gates ain't gonna go any further than that Bible. And he's a big hypocrite because he talks about the murder of a lady or a wife on his channel, but he teaches that women shouldn't teach, and women should. One of the things ladies should teach, and I can't stand that women. Oh, another thing, number 16, the Bible destroys our gender. So it creates a spirit of homosexuality. I'm not a man. I'm not a woman. I'm a girl. So the Bible does that too. It actually destroys our gender, and it's very disrespectful towards a man. I should not be calling myself a male. Female, male, it's all disrespectful, especially to the man. And I said on another video, if you want to believe that Eve came from Adam's rib, there's only one woman, and it's her. I'm not a woman, Eve is, if you want to believe that. So, another thing, number 17, the Bible is not taught properly. It makes you feel like you're equivalent to someone in the Bible, but you're actually not. Like I just described Eve. She's the only woman. I didn't come from no man's rib. I came from a man's nutsack. But a bunch of people think that they are Eve. They walk around and lie and call themselves a woman and women, and I'll use it as needed because that's what the world identifies as. But I'll try my best not to. Okay. So number 18. The Bible is filled with wickedness and violence. It teaches you that you have a right to be violent with people, and it's not a book of justice. There's a scripture that actually says, and I'll do a reaction on it. I think it's in the book of Matthew. It talks about how if a man thinks his wife is with someone, it creates jealousy. And once he feels that she's doing that, and he feels it, it must be true. Fates and Gates read these scriptures. Actually, he's proving how toxic the Bible is. But because Fates and Gates YouTube channel, because he's obsessed with the Bible, he won't even realize that he's teaching how toxic it is. Because I'm thinking, when he was reading that scripture, when it says that a man will be jealous, it's actually encouraging men to be jealous and act crazy. It's basically supporting schizophrenia. That scripture basically was saying, if a man sitting on the couch and some tell his crazy ass that his wife doing something, then this crazy motherfucker can go into a jealous fit. And if some people get their ass kicked or get unalive, cool. Because he know for sure, this crazy ass man know for sure that his wife cheating on him. So that's another thing. 19 would be the Bible is a book. It's unjust. It's a lawless book. That's what it is. It teaches you how to be a vigilante. It teaches that. And see, the problem with that is most people will not have correct intuition. You got to line your intuition up with some facts as well. But some people, their intuition is very accurate. Like I could be laying next to a man and know he's down low. I could lay next to him and the Spirit of the Lord will tell me that this man is homosexual. But believe you me, I done met several of his men over the last 10 years. I got a picture of them kind of smooched up together, damn near holding hands, and they not biological brothers. So you got to line some of your intuition up with some facts as well. But my intuition is usually more accurate. And that's because it's been tested, right? My intuition has been tested and been proven over a long period of time. So it's like a gift I have. But a lot of people don't have no gift like that. They actually could be wrong. And the Bible teaches it teaches a lie that everybody has the intuition. Long as he believed that the Lord told him the woman cheating. This is in like the book of Matthew, I think. Long as the crazy ass man believed that the woman's cheating, the Lord must have told it to his dumb ass. So he freaks out. And the Bible's not saying it's not okay to be like that. The Bible is not a behavior book. If you want to learn better behavior, this is how you'll get your behavior on track, right? This is why I ain't killed nobody right now. The Bible don't teach me that. The Bible, yeah, the commandments say thou should not kill. Yeah, but that's just a commandment, right? But it also, throughout the Bible, institutionalizes violence. Okay. So if you really want to learn better behavior and how to be a better person, learn Zen Buddhism. You're not going to find it in the Bible. The Bible is a book that encourages jealousy and violence and unruliness and a lack of justice. It's a lawless criminal book. It's a book filled with crimes. It's anti-women or ladies. It's anti-women because it takes our identity away from us and it has us calling ourselves men. So it's against women. It has me calling myself a woman. So it's taking my identity away. Right. So the Bible, I have a Bible app and it'll bring up scriptures. I like scriptures that promote worship towards the Lord and acknowledgement of the Lord, but I will not sit here and read a book in the Bible and finish it off within a week. I don't study the Bible every day and just sit here and read it. Because if I do that, I'm going to have to start reacting to half the scriptures. Or I'm going to have to like write my first book and rewrite it. That's another thing. The Bible needs to be rewritten. The Quran and the Bible. All that violence that is going on like in Afghanistan because of the Quran, in those countries, the religion should be removed. It just should be removed and the book be illegal, but they won't do it because it's from God, right? So in countries where the Quran or the Bible, especially the Quran in this case, should be illegal, it's not made to be illegal because it goes under the radar that we can't make it illegal because the Lord helped write it, right? It's from God. See, it's just very toxic. So I don't sit there and study it and read it. Now, there's benefits of faith. Okay, so if you find you a good non-denominational church, I'm not anti-church. I'm just saying that the book, this particular book, destroys lives and minds. This book destroys lives and minds. Look at all the stuff that's going on with the Israelites. Oh my goodness. The so-called Hebrew Israelites, it's actually taking their racial identity away. They think they're adding an identity, but they're actually removing their actual race. It's really caused them trouble. You know how many Hebrew Israelites have gotten criminally charged? They sitting up in prison right now, and they truly believe that hold on one second.
Are you sick? Where you at?
Asthma.
Oh, okay, man. I just want to call you. I wanted to tell you about. Did I tell you we got new phones?
Oh, you got new phones?
Yeah, we're getting new phones. So,
hold on, y'all. This is Elijah for a second. Hold on.
AT&T.
Huh?
My iPhone 16 just came.
Oh, okay.
So it's $115.
Okay, where did you get that from?
It's I can give you the guy's number and he can say it's from AT&T, but they're doing a deal with Target right now.
Okay. Yeah, I heard about that. So Elijah, give me an opinion of I'm doing a video on why this book can destroy lives, and I'm talking about the Bible. and how it can destroy lives. What's one way that it can?
If you've never heard of it, okay, I'm gonna give you a prime example, but you need to listen to me. And this is the main reason I really don't even want to read the book. Is if I was born on an island, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Bible didn't exist, okay?
Uh-huh.
Where would I go when I die?
You still would go somewhere, even if the Bible doesn't exist.
Okay. We're gonna stop there. You listening to me still?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe that because they showed you this book and people read this book, you go somewhere else. I believe the Bible is a curse. Now, if I gave you the Bible, now you have a choice. Now you don't know. Now you don't know where you go. Now you think you're going somewhere, but you still don't know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's two different perspectives. If I showed you the Bible, now you believe in heaven and hell. But at the same time, your natural instinct says, what if I was born on an island and I never heard of the Bible? Where do I go then?
Yeah, you might be more blessed not to ever see. It's a curse to kind of know about it.
It's a curse. It's a curse to have heard of the Bible. If you have never heard of the Bible, you'd be perfectly fine. You'd be living life just how you always live it. But since you have heard of the Bible, it's a curse. The Bible is a curse. Literally, it's a curse.
Well, so it's when it's done the wrong way too, right?
No. I'm gonna say, what's the definition of a curse?
I don't know. You tell me.
Okay, so when a werewolf transforms at a full moon, okay, this is not. I'm not talking real, but I'm just letting you know. When a werewolf, a man that turns into a wolf, transform on a full moon, he gets more powerful. He like a werewolf overall. He's stronger. He's powerful. He can see better than the average person can see. But what happens when he transforms? Do you know?
No.
He breaks every single bone in his body to transform into a wolf. So do you understand how painful that is? If you broke every single bone in your body to transform into something else?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not transforming, you're cool. Like you're living life great. Actually, it's a blessing because you can jump higher than other people, but you just got to hide this one day. So a curse is something that gives you a blessing. You have a blessing. You have something that's worth keeping.
Right.
But it adds something that it's like karma. It's the perfect example of karma. A curse is like karma times 10 because you know your karma's coming. Does that make sense? On a specific day, my karma is going to come every single time. But at the same time, I'm blessed. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
It's like when a millionaire gains $1 million this year and he only gains 1,000 next year. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Perfect example. That's all I got to say to them.
Yeah, and that's the Bible. See, I'm not saying when I say this, Elijah, I'm not saying that churches are all bad and stuff. I'm talking about the books. How the books, like there's this one YouTuber, right?
Real churches don't close. There's so many books. Real churches don't close. That's legal. Real churches do not close. A real church you can stay in, you can sleep in, the bathrooms are open 24/7. A real church, you pay your tithes towards the building. You don't pay your tithes towards the actual church. Nowadays, it's different because you have LOCs and you have businesses and you have business ownerships. And you have to sign documents that specifically say things nowadays. Before, churches were churches. Like you go in a church, if you're homeless, you can stay in a church. If we just lost our...
Yeah, like it used to be back in Jesus' days. You could live in the church.
Real churches. Nowadays, we don't have no real churches. There was because churches close. Name one church that does not close.
Yeah, they all close.
They all close. It's not a church. It's McDonald's. I'm serious. I'm not lying to you. That's what it is. That's why I don't. That's why I can't be a Christian. I can't believe in Christianity because they've monopolized it. They've lied to you, and we don't even have the real book. We don't even have the real book. Everything you're reading is 100% a lie because it was created 400 years ago, and now we have the news. And they lie in the news. So why are they not lying in the book that they wrote? And you can go to a library and find a book. Am I about to believe it like it's the Bible? Hell no. So why am I believing the Bible like it's different from any other of the books inside the library?
See, I don't need to read the Bible to know that the Lord exists.
That's not how that works. Now you need to now. Okay, so something higher exists. Now you need to
I
figure
knew
out.
that
Now you
before I
need to
knew
figure
about a
out. Now
Bible.
you need to figure out how powerful that person is. Now you know something higher exists. Okay, give him all credit. He created everything. Blah blah blah. He's the Lord. Now you need to figure out what He gave us. Now you need to figure out what laws He placed upon us. Now you need to figure out His world, because we can only see 2% of the light spectrum, and if we can only see 2% of the light spectrum, we don't see what's actually happening around us. So we live in this spiritual, we live in heaven right now. We just can't see it because we have eyeballs.
Right.
Look at what a heart is. Look at what a foot is. Look at what a heart is. It's a pump. It's not an organ. Look up. You can look up all this stuff. Look at what melanin is. Like you can. All this stuff is accessible. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to know something, just look up the stupid questions you have in your head.
Right.
And you really find it out. Like, oh, I didn't know. Like this. That religion is not a real thing. Like we're all spiritualists because we're all spiritual beings. So
Yeah. Now I believe that churches can put order in your life.
No. You believe that's not how it works, because I believe in that. Meaning, like you can believe.
But see, I don't connect the church to the Bible.
You just cursed yourself.
No, I'm not cursing myself. Church.
The Bible will bring good in your life. Now, can you see the bad that the Bible is bringing in your life? Can you see?
No, my church is good.
You realize we just bombed, and we just took somebody's president in Jesus' name because we live in a Christian.
No, I don't. They're wrong for that. That's not religion.
But you live in a Christian country. Everybody in this country is Christian. You don't understand what I'm trying to say to you.
They're Christian or Muslim or other religions.
This is the island you were born on with the Bible. Everybody else was born on an island without the Bible. You got to look at it from that perspective. This is the island. This is the one island with the Bible. This is the only island with the Bible, actually. If you go to any other island, you will not find the Bible. Reverse psychology.
Okay, so this is another thing the Bible does. It brainwashes you.
Because you're brainwashed.
And it makes you believe that under God's name you can go bomb and kill and kidnap people.
Well,
because there's so much violence in the Bible.
We've been doing it since America existed. If you can look up the Crusades, we literally went over there, we raped, we stole, we took people's women, and then we killed older men, and we said that was all in Jesus' name.
Stop saying we did it, because we didn't do none of that. They did it.
We didn't do none of that, but we have the bloodline of the people that did. You don't understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So that's another thing. For this video, I agree with Elijah, but the Bible, it teaches it makes people think that all they got to do is say they a Christian and or whatever religion, Christian, Muslim, whatever religion.
You don't even know your original religion. You don't even know your original language. You realize you're native, right? We're both native. We're native people. We're not black. We're not African American. We have no brother. We are not related to Africans in any type of way. We are Native American.
Well, I am. Yes, I am.
No, you're saying that because you don't want to feel less black.
No, our bloodline and our family, it's linked to Africa. We're part of the Bantu tribe.
You say that.
Yeah, my family kept up with their history.
That's not what I'm saying. There's different colored frogs, but they're all frogs, right?
Yeah, but the Bantu people where I'm from, they weren't Christians. They were warriors.
Exactly. Listen what I'm trying
to say.
They
had nothing to do with Christianity.
They were natives too. Look, we're all frogs.
No, they were all the way in Africa.
And we're all the way where?
Well, we're here now.
We're here now, so we adapted to our environment. We live in a rainy, wet state. We're lighter. We get less sun. They live in desert environments with actual animals. They're probably bigger, stronger, and darker.
Right.
So we're the same people, though. We're the different environments. That's why I'm native. We're native because we're forest people.
Mm-hmm.
They're not forest people. We're forest people. You understand what I'm trying to say to you?
Right.
Like we're the monkeys that's from the forest. They're the monkeys that live on the desert.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's different, but we're the same thing. We're still monkeys. Like we're still all these things. That's why I relate like animals to like what we are too. And really, it's a clue. It's a clue to what God gave us. God gave us very specific. Look, you can only find certain groups of just nature, of just things in general. You see what I'm saying? Like you can find lions. All lions look alike. They might be different colors. All birds look alike. They might be different colors. All humans look alike. They might be different colors. It's just up to we all have four. We all have 4 limbs. All spiders have 8. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. It's nothing bigger than just that. It's just the women say they don't like to provide for men. So why does the woman lion hunt for the pack? The man stays at home all day, and the woman goes and gets food. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's happening? You're telling me things that can't even speak English are communicating better in worse circumstances?
Well, lions help get food too.
No. You can look the male lion does not hunt for the pack. It's the woman. The woman lion goes and they kill the 800-pound buffalo.
Both of them hunt. I watch lion videos and both hunt.
Yeah, and you know what the lion's doing?
Especially the male. I watched videos where the male lion is tearing somebody apart.
Look, exactly. Lions don't hunt. They protect their territory. Women hunt in the pack. The women hunt. The men protect their territory. This is our land. That's what they do. This is our land. Don't go past that water over there. And if you do go past the water, you're dead. That's point blank period what it was. That was their property. You went on their property, lions don't play, you died.
Yeah, but at the same time, when that male lion protects the territory, they eat the animal.
Their territory. Women go outside the territory. Women go outside the territory and they come back to the men. And they let the men know we've got a buffalo. And you know what the men do first? The men eat first. The women eat second. And the kids eat after the women. That's how it works.
Yeah, that sounds like they do in the Bible.
It sounds like they do in the Bible because all of it is what? Realistic. All of it is that's happening in real life. The women go hunt. The men protect the tribe. They protect the kids. Mm-hmm. So they'll set the limits on what the boundaries are. You can't come this far within my children or else you're dead. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes one. You're dead. That's my territory. You weren't supposed to come over here. And then after the word passes around, like one hyena got away, then he lets you know we can't go over there, guys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like let's go there. That's their land. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now they don't want to die. Now they live in fear. That's why they're the king of the jungle. They set their territory. Mm-hmm. Nobody can go over there and take their land. If it's not a lion, nobody's going over there and taking their land.
Right.
They're like America. But I'm going to let you go, though.
Okay.
I was trying to lay a little information in your life. So I believe in like Christian stuff, even saying that.
Well, I see you put the label on Christian stuff. I believe in the Lord, and I do believe there's some fundamental.
I imagine myself living on the island.
Yeah. See, I don't focus. I don't put those labels on myself, but I do know that the right church can help. But those churches.
Those people can give me because they are those people, and there's nothing that they can give me because I am on.
Well, they can teach about not doing drugs and living a better family life. You know,
weed is no longer. Oh, did you hear the news?
I don't care about the news. I'm not. I follow Malcolm X teachings.
Because you're a drug addict too. You're a drug addict.
I'm not a drug addict. I don't do drugs.
You want to know why? Because weed is no longer a class 1, it is a class 3. Weed is the same thing as a Tylenol pill.
No, I absolutely disagree with that.
It's not, but that's
because for one, you smoke it. See, I don't let this country.
It's the law.
I don't let this country.
It's the law.
That's your slave master making the law, Elijah.
No. And your slave master said you could take Tylenol, it's not a drug, and you believe it's not a drug.
No, it is a drug. It's a prescription drug.
Okay, and weed is a prescription drug.
Yeah, but no, weed, I'm going to go with Malcolm X teachings on that. how do not do the white man's drugs
You're
and
wrong. It's
pork.
not the white man's because it grew on Earth before the white man was even in existence. The white man existed 400 years ago. That's all.
Yeah. When
Black
once you
people-
smoke
black people have
marijuana,
been-
it's a drug.
White people have been in existence. That's all I gotta say. Black people have been smoking weed longer than white people have been in existence.
Yeah, and that's why we're in poverty too, because we're
No,
spending on
poverty-
weed.
Your definition of poverty. Poverty used to be back then if you didn't have a blanket. Now we live in apartment complexes, but back then if you had one blanket, you were poor. Back then if you had two blankets, you were poor. Back then if you had three blankets, you were poor. If you were rich, if you had 10 blankets, you're rich, you're a wealthy man. That's what wealth is. Wealth is not how much
Excuse me.
stuff you have, not how much money you have. They monopolize money. Look, you can have $1 million. You go anywhere in the world with that. It's not the same. $1 million over here is not $1 million over there. That's all I gotta tell you. So are you really rich? No, you're just as broke as everybody else on earth. You think you're rich. They tricked you. You're not rich. Nobody can really get rich. Rich isn't even a word. Rich isn't something that you can actually attain. Rich is you can stay alive. You're rich if you're alive.
Yeah, you could become rich if you keep that weed out your mouth.
Okay, whatever. But they smoke weed everywhere on the planet. I'm sorry, I just looked it up.
Yeah,
Everyone-
just because they do it doesn't mean it's gonna benefit me. For me, smoking weed has no benefit to my life. I could spend my money on other stuff.
It's not okay. Spend your money. You don't have to spend your money on nothing. You can just grab a seed and grow it because it's a plant.
Yeah, I don't want to grow weed.
No, you don't want to grow it.
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna follow Malcolm X teachings on that.
it's a plant. Okay, sorry
Yeah.
to say.
Malcolm X gave his life to teach me that.
It's not poisonous. It's a plant. It's a plant. It's
Yeah,
plant.
but what I'm saying is I'm gonna go with Malcolm X.
Smoking grass. Let's be real.
Yeah. So
And,
that's
and by the way, if you didn't study on it, it releases chemicals that are already in your brain. If you've ever
yeah,
felt
it's not gonna do that for me.
You've been high before.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I don't smoke weed. I've never smoked weed.
Have you ever felt happy?
Absolutely. Every day. I don't need weed to feel happy. That's why I don't want to smoke weed.
You don't need weed to feel happy. You're contradicting yourself.
I don't need weed and I'm not gonna invest in it.
Weed doesn't make you feel happy. Weed makes you feel the way you already feel.
I'm gonna protect my brain and not do weed.
It doesn't do nothing to your brain.
It does, and it would. Especially this new weed.
It's not new.
I'm talking about all the chemicals they're putting in it.
They're not putting no chemicals in it. They're mixing weed with weed.
I believe in being drug free and not smoking.
Okay, so you're on drugs.
I'm not on drugs because I don't
Yes, you
smoke. No, I'm not.
Weed
Being
and
on
Tylenol-
drugs, that means you do it every day.
Weed and Tylenol is literally the same thing. It doesn't matter if you do it every day.
Well, I don't compare Tylenol to weed because you don't
If
smoke
you've ever
Tylenol.
If you've ever taken a painkiller,
Uh-huh.
a drug. It's a drug because you're saying weed is a drug. So a painkiller, vitamins, they're a drug. Whatever is a class 3 under the law is a drug now, just because you said one thing is a drug.
Uh-huh.
That's literally how that works. That's not me. That's not me saying that. Weed is a class 3. It's not a class 1. Cocaine is a drug. That's a class 1. Heroin is a drug. That's a class 1.
All of them are. So is the marijuana.
That's a class 1.
And they don't want to tell you. See, they like to tell you that weed is okay because they know mainly black guys do it and black
No.
girls.
That's a lot.
So they know y'all gonna believe that it's okay.
That's a lot because they sell weed in Africa and there ain't no America.
I don't
over there.
care. Weed does not benefit our life. That's my perspective, but you have a right to yours.
You're not a
And this is what should be in the Bible, not to do marijuana. They don't have that in the Bible. Where is that scripture? Yeah. So yeah, so that's another thing. Bringing up that point, people have a right to their own perspective, but just looking at that, gosh, I'm glad he brought that up, right? What should be in the Bible is not there. Right? You know, the things that would keep us out of prisons and jails and mental institutions, it's not there. Because another bad thing about the Bible is it's not updated enough. It's an old book, it's outdated, and the Bible destroys and damages lives because it's not updated. It's not modernized. There needs to be a Bible to say stay off drugs.
Oh my God, I'm looking for my charger and I'm trying to figure out other things. What do you need?
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay because I don't know what happened with the phone.
Nah, yeah, it's all cool.
Okay,
I'm
go ahead.
trying to just find.
Yeah, everybody had Elijah. Let me tell you this. I respect people perspectives. It's just I don't support marijuana. That's all. Unless it's for somebody that got like cancer, like
Hey, money, stop. No, get out.
Yeah,
Out.
but everybody have a right to their perspective. I don't want it on my brain. I'll take my chance with a Tylenol. So that's all. But I don't have nothing against your perspective. That's your perspective. I don't want us to fall out over it. So I'll talk to you later. But you brought up a good point. Why ain't that in the Bible? Say no to drugs.
Say no to drugs. Well, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, that ain't a 10 commandment. There's no 10 commandment that say don't do cocaine. Why ain't that a 10 commandment?
Cocaine was around. Cocaine was being sold.
Yeah.
And used and processed.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Yeah, so I'm glad that subject matter came up. And Elijah, he's at the point, of course, y'all know me and Elijah, we don't get along all the time, right? I like some of his spiritual aspects, but remember, I'm talking about this book destroys lives and minds sometimes. I'm not saying churches, all churches. I'm talking about the book itself. So that's one of the complicated things about the Bible. The main thing that should be there ain't in there because it's so old. We got cocaine and heroin addicts and crack addicts and meth addicts. Some of this stuff wasn't even created when the Bible was out. So, if this book meant us well, why don't they update it? They don't update it because it's not necessarily a book that means you well. And so people are so confused. Like Elijah, I raised them going to church. They was in youth group every week at church. But there's nothing in the Bible to teach the youth not to do marijuana. I taught them that, but it's his perspective, because they want to smoke that weed around those children. See, the Bible doesn't teach that either. It doesn't teach environment. The Bible teaches scriptures. And the Bible teaches storytelling, right? But the Bible doesn't necessarily teach environment and how you should live in your environment. You got to maybe go to Zen Buddhism for that. And I'm not talking about the religious Buddhism. Zen Buddhism, where you're learning the philosophy of how to live, not to drink, not to smoke, and stuff like that. But that's one of the downfalls of the Bible and why it destroys lives, because it makes it seem like it's a book to save everybody, but it's actually not enough in there to save you. And it's not a commandment. I mean, that should have been a 10 commandment. Don't smoke. Look at how many lives could have been saved if one of the commandments. What about if there was like a 50 commandments instead of just 10? What if one of the commandments said don't smoke cigarettes? You know how many people would still be alive right now? So the Bible destroys lives. It's a big hypocrite book, right? So I'm gonna play this video, y'all. I got a lot of asthma stuff going on right now. My asthma is just off the Richter. So I'm gonna play this video for y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on 1 second. We're gonna take like a 2 minute break, y'all. Hold on. Also, too, y'all, the Bible, it's what you call, it's not only that it destroys lives, the Bible is a not enough book. So the book destroys lives, which is the Bible and Quran. So when I say the Bible, just throw in the Quran as well. Okay. It destroys lives because it's a not enough book. You heard Elijah. He was taught the Bible, but he still will justify drug abuse and will compare it to a Tylenol. I'm not on any drugs because I take a Tylenol. I'm preventing migraines. Sometimes if I don't take the prescription Tylenol, I'll have migraines for months and months. Is that healthy? You're not on drugs because you're getting medical attention here and there. Now, if you pop in pills every day unnecessarily, just like I was talking about the video on narcissistic ladies or this way or whatever, I talked about the blood pressure pill thing. I talked about prescription drug abuse. I sure did. But let me check the comments here. So hello to Will Byers. Hello, what's up? And then hello to pickle_potato. Hello to you. And then it looks like someone wrote in a different language, so I couldn't read that. So I apologize. But yeah, so thank you so much for the likes, y'all. But so yeah, the Bible is not enough book. I mean, it's we need more. It's not doing its job because the Bible has been taught. And also another thing wrong and why the Bible destroys lives, it teaches you about this evil, mean, cruel God that can just unalive you at any minute. And it teaches you a bad perspective of the Lord. And I don't truly believe in all of that neither. I think Zen Buddhism teaches that it teaches the different levels of karma. That makes more sense. You know, the Bible teaches you everything's your fault. Your leg got broke, you must have did something bad a few years ago. And so it confuses people because it makes good people feel like they're bad. Oh, and what about the teaching that we're all bad and we're all sinners? That's not true. Some people ain't bad at all. The Bible teaches you to be very irrational. Okay. Malcolm X teaching, say no to drugs, stay off pork, especially the say no to drug thing. He didn't really get that from the Bible. He didn't. A lot of Malcolm X teachings were outside of the Bible, and it made a lot of sense. It sure did. So, okay, so I'm going to play this video, and I'm going to give you an example of how the Bible destroys lives. And the first person life it can destroy is an irrational, judgmental pastor. So listen to this, y'all. This Bible has really destroyed his life. It helped his life. This pastor, he has an okay life. It helps his life, but the lack of logic that he's using just because of the Bible. Listen to this, y'all.
I won't even make any inference, so nobody will know what I'm talking about but the person that told me, and I told him I was going to say it. There's a story that I recently heard of a man that, listen to this, left his wife and his children 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Recently passed. And the woman he left his wife for 40 years ago, he was still with, but he had not married her. Her name was on no documents. She had no power of attorney, no insurance policies, nothing but 40 years of being the side chick that broke up a family. That's what dating can get you. If you don't start understanding as a woman the difference between dating and courting, which is emotion versus intention, emotion versus logic, right? Copulation versus covenant. 40 years of being the side chick that broke up a family and ended up with nothing. That's what dating can get you.
So I'm going to play that one more time, y'all. And then I'm going to discuss the points that he's saying in there. So I'm going to play this one more time.
I won't even make any inference, so nobody will know what I'm talking about but the person that told me, and I told him I was going to say it. There's a story that I recently heard of a man that, listen to this, left his wife and his children 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Recently passed. And the woman he left his wife for 40 years ago, he was still with, but he had not married her. Her name was on no documents. She had no power of attorney, no insurance policies, nothing but 40 years of being the side chick that broke up a family. That's what dating can get you. If you don't start understanding as a woman the difference between dating and courting, which is emotion versus intention, emotion versus logic, right? Copulation versus covenant. 40 years of being the side chick that broke up a family and ended up with nothing. That's what dating can get you.
So that's pretty sad. And I got a lot to say about it. So it's really sad. And don't go anywhere because it's going to be very interesting what I'm going to have to say about it. Okay, so we'll start with Pastor R.C. Blakes there. I like some of his teachings, I do. But he mentions at the end emotion versus logic. He's the one emotional. Because see, Pastor Blakes, he believes in the Bible, right? So he's the one that's actually emotional because what he's failing to understand, emotion versus logic. He said that this woman that this man was with for 40 years broke up a family. That's part of the subtle abuse of the Bible. It teaches and indicates mentally that the person is not making a logical decision. So the book destroys lives and minds because it has you blaming everything on an outside source. This married man ended things with his wife and his children. And I don't know why this particular married man did that. This is a married man that Pastor R.C. Blakes is talking about. Okay. But the thing is, the Bible has Pastor R.C. Blakes so messed up in the mind. He's not using logic. Key word. This man left his prior wife, and I'm not going to say this man left his children because I don't know if he continued to parent his children. Okay. But I suspect maybe he did. Any man that can stay with a woman for 40 years may have been dedicated to his child. Okay. So because of how marriage is taught and the lie is taught, it's a lie. Marriage for most people has very little to do with the Lord. And this is why. For one, most people that are married don't go to church anymore. They don't. So how does it have much to do? Why does it have much to do with the Lord when most people are not even in a church? The average married couple does not even have a church home. So they really believe they marriage from the Lord and they don't go to church? That's another thing. You know, the Bible destroys lives and minds because most people ain't doing what's in it anyway. So Pastor R.C. Blakes in this video, he blames this woman for being a homewrecker, basically, because she was with the man for 40 years. And see, the only reason the Bible and this book destroys lives and minds because he's called this woman a side chick. R.C. Blakes has lost his mind. This ain't no side chick. A couple that's been together 40 years, that's not his side chick. But because of the Bible and how that book destroys lives and minds, just because it wasn't a legal marriage, Pastor R.C. Blakes calls her a side chick. Now, biblically, you don't need paperwork to be married. Many people don't know that. So how do we know they didn't get spiritually married? See, R.C. Blakes has also lost sight of what a real marriage is. It's not a legal marriage. So basically, the book has destroyed Pastor R.C. Blake's mind and his life because it has him overjudging a lady. He didn't mention any cheating. This woman that he got with, when a man stays with a woman for 40 years, she ain't broke up nothing. This is who he wanted to be with. This is pretty much his soulmate. This man didn't stay with his wife because he wasn't meant to be with her. And it looks like he found his soulmate. But because the book destroys lives and minds, which is the Bible, and men, especially black men, are addicted to it, they're not going to see that. Now, Pastor R.C. Blakes mentions a power of attorney. There was no power of attorney. There was no insurance policies. A lot of married people die in that state and are in that situation. It's a bunch of married people that have legal marriages. A lot of them ain't even got a policy to bury their husband or their wife. Maybe this couple that was together 40 years, maybe one of them was rich. Maybe they some people don't get life insurance policies because they can go into their account and pay for the funeral. Some people don't get policies. They just go into their account. I don't know the situation with that. But in this situation, with this video, the way I'm going to react to it, I'm not going to say she broke up anybody. Because the reason I'm not going to say that this lady that was with this man 40 years that used to be married is because they were together too long. Sounds like they were pretty much living together 40 years. Called her a side chick. Now, the way the Bible destroys lives and minds is Pastor R.C. Blake's 40 years is a lot of time. He does not consider her family. This woman is family to this man. It don't matter about a piece of paper. When a woman and man have been together 40 years, she's family. She just is. But the book destroys lives and minds because the Bible, if you are too into the Bible, it will take the complete logic and the good out of the situation. So say hypothetically, this man and woman were together 40 years. Pastor Blakes didn't mention that either one of them was cheating on each other. He's only downgrading it because they weren't married. But he don't know if they were married. All he'll know is they weren't legally married. They could have got married right in the living room because the man did get divorced from his first wife. Maybe he say, my next marriage, I'm just going to marry her right in the living room or the bedroom. We're going to get married in the shower. So the Bible in that book destroys lives and minds because it helps people think irrational. The power of attorney, the no life insurance, that really had nothing to do with a marriage because married people don't have that. And blame this woman for breaking up the relationship. And I don't see it that way. The man chose not to be with his wife. He got with the woman he wanted to be with and stayed with her 40 years. That's his new wife. And I don't need a Bible to tell me it's not. They were together too long. Pastor Blake's, he knows more about the situation, but he's took bits and pieces. And another thing that the book does, the book destroys lives and minds because it gives a false belief that everyone lives the way you do. Now, Pastor Blake's, he's kind of hypocritical because, he kind of didn't commit to Lisa right away. Then Lisa left him. Lisa Blake, she left him. And they ended up married. Lisa doesn't look happy to me. She doesn't. She's a doll and she looks beautiful, but I don't see genuine happiness on her. I don't. The Bible has Pastor Blake's thinking that women get over that stuff. The fact that he did not want her, a woman ain't never going to forget that. That you didn't want her and you came back and married her because she left you. Women don't forget that. Ladies don't forget that. Pastor R.C. Blake's got what he wanted. He wanted Lisa back. They got children and they've been married ever since. But marrying her doesn't take away that original hurt and pain. Because at the end of the day, Lisa Blakes has to deal with the fact that he didn't want her. He didn't. She just played her game right, left him. Pastor R.C. Blake's mom said, that's your wife. Pastor R.C. Blake's mama had to tell him that that's his wife. But Pastor R.C. Blake's will believe that Lisa Blake's is happy just because they're married. I might see some photos. Say I saw some photos. This couple that he's talking about, that Pastor R.C. Blake's is calling a side chick. They was together 40 years. And like I said, they could have got married in the living room. But see how the book destroys lives and minds? Because he ain't thinking about that. Pastor R.C. Blake's has forgotten what a real marriage is. It's not a legal marriage. Biblically, you only had to give your wife or husband a certificate, a document of divorce if you divorced them. You didn't need a document to get married. The book destroys lives and minds because half the time people don't really read what it says. You don't need a piece of paper to be married. That's a shame that Pastor R.C. Blake's is a pastor and he can't figure that out. This couple that stayed together 40 years, I'm going to tell you one thing I know. You know why it lasted 40 years? Because they're private people. They're private people. That's why it lasted so long. There's no power of attorney. There's no life insurance. Maybe there is something. Maybe there's $500,000 in a bank account. I don't know the people. I'm just doing the reaction to how Pastor R.C. Blake's, also, the book destroys lives and minds because he's not celebrating love. See, what I heard when he say, wasn't no power of attorney, wasn't no insurance, they together 40 years. I said, oh, these people love each other. See, I'm not going to let a Bible destroy my mind and life where I miss out on the value. I know this sister. I've been knowing her since I was a teenager. Right now, today, she lives with a man. They still together. They had one child, never got married. They don't cheat on each other. They've been together for decades and decades. Own properties together. Sure do. And she told me one time, she said, Irene, you got to find balance. She was trying to tell me then. Because, see, I got married. I had the big wedding. It didn't last. She didn't do all of that. She never had a wedding. But I got to ask myself this. Maybe she is married. Maybe him and her did it in the living room too. That's honorable to God. So if you and a person get married and y'all do it right in your living room or in your house or out to eat or wherever at the library and y'all get married, that's honorable to God, to the one most high. So how the book destroys lives and minds, which is the Bible, is it has Pastor R.C. Blakes calling that woman a side chick. I would be hurt if I had been with a man for 40 years and I was only with that one man, and he was on a video, a pastor came on a video, a hypocrite pastor that's in his emotions come on a video and call me a side chick. That would hurt me, especially if I actually was married to this man and did a marriage that's not legal. Neither one of them killed each other. There's no crime scene here. A person have a right to leave you when they don't love you. And it don't matter that you have a child with them. You're not their Lord. And that's another reason that the book destroys lives and minds, because it makes you lose sight. It makes it seem like marriage is some kind of prison. A marriage is based on love, trust, and understanding. You're supposed to be with somebody you really in love with, somebody that you want to be intimate with. And Pastor R.C. Blakes, he wrong for that. I think he took it too far when he called a woman that had been with one man for 40 years a side chick. He wouldn't want nobody to call Lisa Blakes a side chick. This woman that he's talking about, 40 years, she been with this man too long to be called a side chick. And for us not to have any other pertinent information. Broke up a family. No, that man made a decision that he didn't want to be with his prior wife, this man that Pastor R.C. Blakes is talking about. He made a decision that he didn't want to be with his prior wife. And he got with his spiritual soulmate. See, I'm not going to let the Bible make me lose sight of this is who the Lord sent this man. When a man has been with a woman 40 years, that's who the Lord sent him. This is probably a very spiritual man. That's another thing that the book destroys lives and minds, referring to the Bible, because it has a whole pastor calling a decent woman a side chick. Because that's how I see it. If a lady has been with a man 40 years, I consider her decent. I ain't stayed with no man 40 years. And I still consider myself decent. But 40 years or not, been with somebody 40 years, this is a decent lady. What do y'all think about this? What Pastor R.C. Blakes is saying about this lady. It's talking about the lady broke up a family, wasn't no power of attorney on the man that passed away, no insurance policy. What's y'all opinion on it? Do you view her as a side chick? He ain't with the wife no more. He broke up with his first wife and wasn't messing with her no more. So how is the woman that he's been with 40 years a side chick, y'all? This is horrible. But this is how the book destroys lives and minds. Because R.C. Blakes is a Bible stumper and a Bible believer, he can comfortably get on here and calling her a side chick. That's like a slick way of calling this woman a hoe. And if a woman has been with a man 40 years, that's not no hoe. I don't care if she didn't marry him. If this woman or lady, because that's another corruption. See how the Bible, it's got my mind destroyed. Because no matter how much I preach that woman and women word, that man on it is inappropriate, I'm still going to say it because I got it from the Bible. The Bible taught me that toxic word. So it's like brainwashed. I got to constantly remind myself not to call myself the man word. It's horrible. Now, I'm not against churches and stuff like that. And, if people want to go to the masjid, mosque, and churches, and they really want to live like a traditional good lifestyle, but those books destroy lives and minds. And just because they said it's from a God, even when there's mass killings, it's still not banned. I watched this one video. I'm going to find the video. It's called The Dancing Boys. So let me put this. Remember, I'm going to put these videos in the description box. So I'm going to find the video. It's called The Dancing Boys. It's horrible. And these are Muslims doing this stuff. It's called The Dancing Boys Document. And then I'm going to put this video in the description box as well. And I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I got asthma issues. I'm trying to do the best with my asthma. When I have an asthmatic cough, I try to put it on mute if I can. So if you hear me kind of like, you could tell I put it on mute, it's because I can't keep coughing during the whole video. It's called an asthmatic cough, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's helping me clear out inflammation. But yeah. So, in the book, it destroys lives and minds because it's blinding Pastor R.C. Blake's. It's blinding his logic for him to understand that this is a real relationship. A man had a prior wife and then wasn't with her no more and been with the new woman 40 years. Just view him just like he got remarried. My goodness. It's so horrible. He really judged that wrong. And, because he's a Bible stumper and a pastor, that's the downfall. Being able to basically call somebody a side chick, basically borderline calling her a Jezebel. Oh, and that's another thing. The book destroys lives and minds because it just teaches pure wickedness about ladies. It does. It's not a book that, even just knowing about the story of Jezebel, it's not encouraging for a lady or girl to even know that that type of story exists. And, little girls are taught about Jezebel at a very young age. And don't think it hasn't affected self-esteem. It's a major reason. The book destroys lives and minds. And I figured this out a while back, y'all. It's a major reason for prostitution as well. Most prostitutes know about the scripture in the Bible that they can't teach. It's not true. It's not logical. That scripture is a lie, y'all. Ladies can teach. Goodness, it's a whole lie. How many school teachers? Some of my favorite school teachers, whether they taught Bible school or they was my social studies teacher, they were ladies. Ladies can teach. I don't care what Fates and Gates say or nothing. Anybody that has a voice can teach. And this one other YouTuber, I was going to do a reaction on him as well. He's this little guy. He barely has a voice. You know, he speaks like he barely could talk. Talking about women can't teach or ladies can't teach. He can't teach. I was listening to that little brother like he needs to listen to me so he can learn how to use his voice. Not even using his voice. Talking about who can't teach. The book destroys lives and minds because it gives people with no talents. The Bible, it makes people with no talents feel like that they're actually more talented than other talented people, real talented people. It gives them a superior attitude. And the book has been a source of a lot of wars. The Quran, the Bible. I oftentimes wonder what would the world have been like without the Bible. And I'm not necessarily convinced that it would have been worse. I'm not necessarily convinced. Like Elijah mentioned earlier, you know, where would you go if you were on an island and you never knew about the Bible? Where do you think you go when you die? Because, you know, if the story is true, and of course it's true, you have a soul inside your chest, and the angel of death comes and removes that when you die. That happens for everybody, no matter where you're at. So you still go somewhere to a good or bad place, whether you know about Jesus or if you knew about the Bible. And it's also not true that everybody will know about Jesus. Some people ain't never seen a TV. There's so many lies in the book. The book destroys lives and minds because it's filled with lies. Everybody will know about the name of Jesus. No, they will not. It's filled with falsehoods, lies, and people will end up in situations, especially the honor thy mother thing, right? Teaching you to honor the wrong people that really have not supported you and been there for you. The book helped destroy my life and my mind because of the fact I believed in the honor thy mother thing. And I ended up being manipulated. And my empathy was messed with. My empathy was manipulated and destroyed. My kind heart was manipulated because I believed and was brainwashed by that honor thy mother scripture. Right now, as I'm doing this video, my mother's in a grave site, but I'm in a struggle with her from the grave site because I'm awakened now. I don't care what people say. Go see your disabled brother. Go do this. No. My brother, we weren't raised in the same house all of our life. Let's go from 9 years old. Okay. James and I, we moved from Redbud, and my grandmother, I was 9 when we stayed on Redbud in St. Louis, when Redbud was a beautiful neighborhood. When you left out one of those brick homes on Redbud back in the day, you felt like one of the Huxtables. That's how I felt. 9 years old, we moved to my grandmother's restaurant. The establishment was approximately 8,000 square feet, and part of it was a residence. So James, my grandmother, and I, we moved to the restaurant. I was about 9 years old. I left right at about 18. We'll just give it 18 because I was 3 months My birthday was coming up in 3 months. So 9 to 18, that's 9 years, right? So all of those years, we'll just go from that point. We could go back even further if I want to. But from 9 years old to 18, I'm living with my grandmother. I'm not living in the house with my mother and brother. My mother is actively neglecting and not doing any motherly stuff for myself or my baby sister. I do not have to visit her son. I do not have to let her disabled son mentally abuse me and make me feel bad. I don't have to feel obligated to do anything for my mother's son. Because that honor thy mother doesn't fully apply to my mother. Because she didn't try her best to be a mother. See, I'm no longer allowing that book to destroy my life and mind. I'm using logic now. That honor thy mother thing really got me. And I ended up taking on my mother's responsibility, and she did not deserve it. She did not deserve to be honored. The deed I did, taking her disabled son in and moving him all the way out of town with me, my mother did not deserve that. Because she was not a mother that did her best to be a mother. That's who you honor, is a mother that deserved it. So right now, I have to stop that book from destroying my mind and my life. My brother is in an adult family home. I hooked him up with all the programs and stuff that he's still utilizing to be in that adult family home. And I don't have to honor my mother and allow him to keep talking crazy to me, insulting me, being cruel to me. I don't have to do it. That honor thy mother commandment had me having that disabled demon in my home for 8 years. I had a crippled demon in my home for 8 years because that book destroyed my life and my mind. I can never get those years back. I can never get those years back. I wasted my life. That's another thing. The book destroys lives and minds because it teaches you to be nice and caring to the wrong people. Like I said in the beginning, it's a book for abusers, people that want to be real good abuse victims. And what was the other category I said? Let me go, because I wrote some notes on that. I named 3 things, 3 categories. You would learn how to be an abuser, be a victim. Oh, these were the 3 categories. You'll learn how to, the Bible teaches you, that book teaches you to be an abuser, be a victim of an abuser, or submit to abuse. It teaches heavy submission. I hope these examples help. I'm giving an example of how it destroyed my life and mine. I should have told my mother, no, I'm not taking on your son. This is logic. So you got to get out of the Bible. I was on the phone, so I would have been safe of not being assaulted by her. I should have told my mother, no, that's your son, and you need to go to the hospital. Maybe my mother would still be alive if I wasn't honoring thy mother. I should have said, no, I'm not taking your son because you didn't parent me. You took care of him and had him staying with you because he got that little disability check that you loved. You didn't want to take yourself to work and create your own income like my grandmother did. You didn't want to be a business owner as long as my grandmother did. I should have been more logical. I should have told my mother, you need to go to the hospital. You probably got pneumonia or something, and you need to go check in at the hospital because I am not taking on your disabled son. And I don't have to because you weren't a mother in that way. And you need to be alive to continue to take care of him. That's what should have happened. Logic. But the book destroyed my life and my mind and took years away from me that I'll never get back. And the way I struggle with my mother right from her gravesite, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think my mother would be mad at me. There's no energy that she would be mad at me. You know what I think my mother would say? You woke up, Irene. I can't pimp you with no scripture. So many mothers that didn't try hard enough, didn't fight for their kids at no point. My mother asked me, you gonna take your brother? Because I told her I would. But there was no empathy for me. She just was looking out for her son. But I was blinded by that because of that scripture. I had became a Christian. I was saved and baptized, and I thought that that applied to her. It didn't. Honor thy mother just means I shouldn't be cussing her and hating her and stuff. But I got it all confused because the book destroyed my life and my mind, kind of like being brainwashed, y'all. I did something for a lady that did not deserve it. My mother did not deserve for me to take care of her untrained, undisciplined, demonic son that's disabled. I look at disabled people totally different, y'all. I sure do. I don't dislike them, but they regular people just like us. They can be mean and evil and whatever. But those books, the book destroys lives and minds because it gives other people the power and the courage to think they can speak up to you and judge you for it, even though you've made a firm decision not to live in that way. The book destroys lives and minds because it totally destroys correct logic. You know, and I'll play this video one more time. Look what it did to R.C. Blakes, how he's judging this poor woman. You know what? And the book it destroys lives and minds because you know what? He has no compassion. R.C. Blakes, he's supposed to be a compassionate pastor, right? Whether she's a wife or not, this woman has lost a man that she's been with 40 years. And just because there's no piece of paper saying that they were married, Pastor R.C. Blakes has totally lost basic compassion for a lady that's lost a man that she's been with for 40 years. That's such a long time. Most marriages can't last that long. But the book destroys lives and minds. And if you use it too much, you're not going to have compassion. Oh, well, that's a harlot that died in the big city yesterday. The Bible calls prostitutes harlots. We shouldn't feel nothing for her. I mean, but we should. I'm not going to let the fact that the Bible calls prostitutes harlots, we shouldn't lose sight of compassion. But I hope these examples make sense. I'm giving you an example of how my life was destroyed. Part of my life was destroyed, sure was, by that honor thy mother. A mother is not somebody that just gives birth to you. and does nothing else. I got used when I took care of my disabled brother, and I'm not going to do it again. When it's appropriate, this is just a suggestion. I gave you an example from 9 years old to basically 18. That's 9 years that I'm with my grandmother. I'm just going off the 9 years. I could go back further. I'm at my grandmother's restaurant, living in the residential part. From 9 years old to 18, we just gonna add them 3 months on there. Because my grandmother had been taking care of me since birth. Okay. And providing. My grandmother was a real provider. Her thing wasn't babysitting. My grandmother was not like a babysitter type, but she was the provider, and she always would have someone taking care of me. Okay. And I live with my mother as well, but I'm just going off those 9 years. That's a long time not to live in the house with my biological brother. So see, the act that I did shouldn't have had nothing to do with honor thy mother. It should have had something to do with does what I'm doing apply to the situation? No, it didn't apply because I wasn't raised and living in the house with my biological brother every day. See, that's something you do for a mother that you was in the house with your whole life or half your life or whatever. If you're not in the house with your mother your whole life and it's not due to no custody issues, there was no parental alienation or anything like that, what I did was too big of a deed for the situation I was in. So see, the actions that I take now, I have to battle it from my mother's gravesite. I love my mother. I'm not mad at her, but it also don't say honor my brother. See, even if I'm gonna say, well, okay, honor thy mother. Honoring thy mother don't mean take on her crappy son and let him keep being mean to me and abusing me and ungrateful. That's the most ungrateful, crippled man I've ever met in my entire existence. That is the worst disabled person that you could ever care for in your life. It really is. And I don't have to be subjected to it because I'm brainwashed from a book that can destroy your life and mind. It had me doing a good deed and doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. My brother should have went in a adult family home right away, but guess what? My mother didn't set that up. She didn't have to set it up because she knew at the time I was a Christian. I had been saved and baptized, and she knew that scripture had destroyed me. Honor thy mother and father. She knew I was destroyed by that. She went on and had a jolly old time, dying. She sure did. Praying, probably in heaven, laughing, having a jolly old time in heaven, while I am stuck with her horrible responsibility. So that's just how I feel about it, y'all. So I'm gonna play this video by Pastor R.C. Blake so y'all can hear this one more time.
I won't even make any inference, so nobody will know what I'm talking about but the person that told me, and I told him I was going to say it. There's a story that I recently heard.
And that's another thing, that how the book destroys lives and minds. He don't even look happy saying this. He's so destroyed by that marital stuff and those scriptures about marriage in the Bible that he's lost total logic, that he shouldn't even be saying what he's saying. He looks so cold-hearted and cruel saying this. He doesn't look right saying it. The book destroys lives and minds, especially for Black males. I don't care how rich they are. Usually when a Black man is too addicted and attached to a Bible, it messes them up, y'all. I don't care who it is, even Pastor R.C. Blake's. The book has destroyed him in some way. It may have helped him in some way. And that's the thing. The book destroys lives and minds because it's so extreme. You're like really good in this area, but you're totally failing over here. And it all links to the beliefs that come from the book.
There's a story that I recently heard of a man that, listen to this, left his wife and his children.
He left his wife and children 40 years ago, y'all. Please don't underestimate how long 40 years really is.
40 years ago. 40 years ago.
And Pastor Blake's is acting highly narcissistic here because he's devaluing 40 years. And he's going to act like it's nothing. He's going to act like it's 4 months. Like this is what Elijah McDavid situation. That pastor that divorced his wife after like 5 months. That's how he's treating this. When it's not. This relationship lasted 40 years. Fair use, y'all. Fair use.
40 years ago. 40 years ago. Recently passed. And the woman...
He passed. And the woman that was with this man for 40 years is very sad right now, y'all. I bet she grieving. She might miss him more than some people would miss their own husband. But like I said, we don't know if they didn't get married in the living room. We don't know. Pastor Blake's, he's so ignorant right now. He's forgotten that a marriage don't have to be on paper. Imagine a pastor totally forgetting that a marriage is not a piece of paper. He's only talking about this lady like this because they didn't get a paperwork marriage. Marriages in the Bible were not paperwork marriages. They were actually real marriages. No paperwork. You only needed to give them some form of something in writing if you got divorced. That's it. Not for marriage.
When he left his wife for 40 years ago, he was still with, but he had not married her. Her name was on no documents. She had no power of attorney, no insurance policies, nothing. But
he's devaluing this woman because they had love. The book destroys lives and minds because Pastor R.C. Blake's has forgotten what love is. Because for him, love is just what's in the Bible. I don't even like, to be honest, I don't like seeing too many pictures of, because of a lot of my psychic and prophetic and intuitive gifts, I don't too much like seeing their family photos. And it's not because of jealousy. I just get tired of Lisa Blake's not really looking happy. She smiles, but it's like that same smile, right? Like it's not, I don't feel happiness from it. But R.C. Blake's, he will think she's happy just because they're married. I don't think she's in a bad marriage, but I don't think Pastor R.C. Blake's even truly understands the part in her soul that could still have like an ache in it just because of how he did her. And I'm going to tell you why she's not fully happy. Okay. I'm going to prove it here right now. When Pastor R.C. Blakes, decades and decades ago, when him and Lisa Blakes were very young, before they got married, his wife, and he basically told her he wasn't going to get married. She broke it off with him. Lisa Blakes at that time started dating another man. See, so what R.C. Blakes doesn't understand, now, if she hadn't went ahead and dated another man and came back to Pastor R.C. Blakes, she might look better in the photos. But see, I don't care if he married her or not. Once a woman leaves or they break up, once a woman breaks up with a man and she goes and has an affair, an ongoing affair that extends past 6 months. Now, a lady can get over a very short-term relationship. But anything that went past like 6 months and stuff, it's never going to be the same. Like Pastor R.C. Blake said, Lisa Blakes got with a man that looked better than him, that had more money than him. He talks about this. In her soul, that could be who she kind of loved for real. She went back to R.C. Blakes because I think she loved R.C. Blake. She was very hurt. She was in a lot of pain that he ended it with her. But those photos I see reflect her unhappiness. See, I got rid of them all. I might have been too hurt to go back to them because I know that my photos, for the rest of our life, I'm going to look kind of miserable. I wouldn't know that about myself. As a Scorpio type woman or winter baby, I can't really return to exes. I just can't. It's not. I'll be more happier without being with an ex. I don't need to be with no man that didn't want me at first. And his mama got to tell him I'm the one for him. Maybe this woman that Pastor Blakes is talking about that was with this man 40 years that he thinks they weren't married, a legal marriage, she might look lit up and happy on her photos. Don't nobody give a care about no power of attorney, no life insurance. Some people care about happiness, y'all. Fair use, y'all.
40 years of being the side chick that broke up a family.
That's sad that he called her a side chick. See, what's happened here? Most likely what's happened in this situation, he's been infiltrated. So he's created a bond. It sounds like Pastor R.C. Blakes. I'm going to use my intuition here, right? He's created probably a bond with the first wife. And the first wife has said, yeah, that lady took my man. Because they always blame it on the lady instead of accepting the man's truth. A man don't have to be with nobody he don't want to. If he don't like that woman, he should leave. That's better than killing her, like what they're doing now on all these crime shows. And I'm happy for a man if he can find somebody he wants to be with for 40 years. Even if he was my old man or my prior man. Let that man go on and be with somebody he want to be with. So that's what's happened. Pastor R.C. Blakes, he's been infiltrated by some old church scam. And so there's infiltration going on here. And yeah, basically, and that's what these church people do. You know, they take the side of the church person. You know, if that makes sense. They take the side of the church person. And I don't know how long that marriage could have lasted. Did that old marriage that this man and woman that Pastor R.C. Blakes is talking about, is that man and woman, how long did their marriage last? Come on now, your marriage lasts 2 years. Just say it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. At this point, I know this. He wasn't with his prior wife for no 40 years. They ain't topped no 40 years. Sure ain't. I know that much. Fair use, y'all.
That's what dating can get you. If you don't start understanding as a woman the difference between dating and courting, which is emotion versus intention.
He don't know the difference between dating and courting, because this is why. When a woman and man have been together 40 years, and it sounds like this couple pretty much lived together, they're not dating and courting anymore. They're committed. So he the one that's lost sight of what dating and courting is. They're not dating and courting. A man and woman, if I met a man and he wanted to be with me and he was trying to get with me while he with this woman that he been with 40 years, I would treat him just like a married man. I would view him on the same level. He's been with this lady 40 years. I would feel just like I was messing with somebody's husband, because I'm going to view him as married. I'm not going to let no book destroy my life and mind and make me lose sight of how powerful this bond is. These people have sex, y'all. Two people that's been having sex 40 years that could have potentially kept it private, and maybe they did marry. But Pastor Blakes, he's blinded. He's only looking at the Bible, and it's not a legal marriage. He has enough information to know that much. And he's just going to badger, insult, call this woman a side chick. That ain't right. Calling no woman no side chick that's been with no man 40 years. That's wrong. And then I don't know if the whole time they've been engaged. You know how some couples, they stay together 20, 30, 40 years, but they've been engaged the whole time. I don't know. Fair use, y'all.
Versus intention. Emotion versus logic.
He's a hypocrite. Pastor R.C. Blakes, he's not using logic. I'm using logic. He's not. But he can't use it no more because he read that Bible too much. The book destroys lives and minds.
Right? Copulation versus covenant. 40 years.
They do have a covenant, y'all. They've been together 40 years. Don't you think two people that's been together 40 years ain't got no covenant? It's a covenant. Trust me. It's a bond. It's a covenant. It's like glue. 40 years.
Of being the side chick that broke up a family and ended up with.
He wrong for that. You know, spiritual whistleblower, she used to call R.C. Blakes a narcissist. And I didn't agree with her at the time. Because, you know, spiritual whistleblower, she be really going in. But she called R.C. Blakes a narcissist years ago. And right now, he's acting highly narcissistic. He's having no empathy for this woman that's been with this man 40 years. None at all.
Up with nothing. That's what dating can get you.
Hold on, y'all. Something happened here. He said that's what dating can get you. Yeah, there's no empathy for this woman that's and man that shared one another's bodies and was intimate and loved on one another for 40 years. He has no empathy for this lady. And he shouldn't have called her a side chick. If he has no, he's not talking about this lady was cheating, she was a whore. He's not saying any of that. You're not a side chick just because you're unmarried. That don't make you a side chick. He provided no information. Pastor R.C. Blake provided no information to say that the married man left the woman with 40 years and got with another woman and then still messed with the woman he was with on and off for 40 years. This is a completely committed relationship. The book is not going to destroy my life and mine to make me lose sight that this is a committed relationship that this couple had. I hope this lady can grieve over her potential husband, because I don't know if they didn't get spiritually married. All I know is that according to Pastor R.C. Blake's, they're not legally married. I hope she can heal over losing a man that she was with for 40 years that was going inside her body just like somebody's husband would. I'm going to use logic, and I'm not going to let no Bible, the book that destroys lives and minds, make me lose sight of a healthy relationship that lasted. We can't even get a marriage now to last 40 years, y'all. An actual legal marriage does not last 40 years. But this relationship that Pastor R.C. Blake is talking about, he needs to go look at those unhealthy photos of how miserable and how not genuinely happy Lisa Blake's looks, his wife, and he needs to handle that. Pastor R.C. Blake spends too much time critiquing other ladies' relationships, and that's what he does for a living. But it's not right. She's not a side chick, and I hope this is an excellent example for y'all to use of how the book destroys lives and minds. And I'm talking about Bibles, and when I say the Bible, the King James Holy Bible, and the Quran. Any books that are considered equivalent to Bibles, they're all the same, y'all. And so you got to figure out how you want to live and function. And if you're going to utilize Bibles, don't let it destroy your life and mind. And I gave you a couple of examples of even utilizing my own experience, y'all. I gave you my experience of how I was done when my mother died. That honor thy mother thing really hurt my life, y'all. It put me in a position where I could be heavily manipulated and used to take on my mother's son for a mother that didn't take care of her children. It was wrong, y'all. And what I try to do is use logic now. They would have been better off creating a book on how not to use drugs and how not to smoke. All these drug addicts and alcoholics running around the United States, we needed a drug book and called that a Bible. a Say No to Drug book, and that should have been named the Bible. A book on how to not be homeless 15 years from now. The Bible has a lot of missing answers to things that you have to use logic for so that it doesn't destroy your life and mind. So that is truly my opinion, y'all. And y'all got any questions on what y'all think about what I'm saying? Y'all got any questions? Thank you so much for the likes. Any questions? I'm not going to devalue the relationship. 40 years, I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. He didn't say that they was unhappy. Please like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Tune in for more right here with the Advanced Insight channel. Thank you. Bye. And remember, y'all, I will put the videos, the fair use videos in the description box. And I'm also going to try to find that video on the dancing boys. They're in a Muslim country, and these boys, they're called the dancing boys. They're being prostituted, molested, raped on a regular. And all of the Muslims and the religious people in that particular country allow it. They just do. Try to find that video as well. It's a documentary. But the Bible destroys lives and minds, and so does the Quran. They're both basically Bibles, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tune in for more. Thank you. Bye.